Hello everyone, today we will show you how to prepare a cloud PQ in BuildSpace. First of all, after we log in, we go to the BuildSpace button and then click on the Project Builder. In here, there are lists of projects that are currently in process of building. We begin with click on the Create Project button up here and then click on the project information form. Fill in the title, and then moving on to the client. Proceed to the work category, which in this instant we choose building, the country, state, the site address, currency and start date. When finished, click on the save, and we can see the project is available at the top right here. So simply double click on the project, and then we will be greeted with this interface, and we can see that there are no builds available for this particular BQ. So we begin with click on the lower section here and click add build. From here we can add as many numbers of builds that we require. So for this instant, I will enter one number of build 1, which is the building works. Finish with that, click on save, and the build is available here for us to edit. So basically there are three methods of entering the elements and the description into each build. First of all, there is the option to manually input everything into the description. Secondly, we can make full use of the library that we already viewed earlier. And also, we can so choose to import from Excel file if we have the Excel documents. So I will demonstrate one by one, beginning with the manual type in. So double click on the build, and in here, we can add the elements. Take for example here, I type in concrete. Finish, push enter, and then simply double click on the elements that we just created. And now we are into the item level. Take for example in here, I type in grade 25 reinforced in situ concrete. Just enter. So this is basically the head of the items. So in this type over here, we can change it into the head, like this one. And then we move on to create the sub items. Take for example for this one, to column. Press enter. And then to beam. So in this particular items, we can apply the indent for it to basically to group every item based on the heading that we just created up there. So we continue with column, with beam. So here we can see that there are multiple types of items available. Let's begin with the head, like we just choose that right now. It is basically the head of the specific types of items. And then there are items which basically is the item for supplementing the head. And then there is the item P, basically item provisional. And then item PC for item prime costs. Take for example here, I choose this one as item PC. We can see that the item is separated into few courses. So how to put in costs in this particular items? Simply double click on the rates and then we can enter the supply rates. Take for example for this one we enter 320. So once we click save, all of the remaining wastage, labor for installation, other costs, profit will be filled by the contractor that wanted to participate in this tender. However, they cannot change the supply rate for this particular item. So once finished, we can proceed to click save. And then we can proceed with the item RO, which is items for rate only. Item NL for item non-listed. Non-listed is basically means that the consultant is open to contractor's suggestion to input the item inside the BQ. Item LS for item lump sum. Item LS percentage is for lump sum based on percentage. Item LSX is item lump sum based on rates. And no ID here stands for the description that doesn't require to have any form of units and quantity and also rates. So we change back to item, push enter, and that's basically it. Moving on to the second method of entering the description into BQ, which is through the BQ library. So now we click on the second level over here, click on the import elements from library. We choose from which library that we wanted to have the description form. Take for example SMM2, double click, and then choose whatever types of elements that we wanted to choose. Take for example for this one, I click on the concrete works and then click import. So we can see the concrete works is available in here. So double click on the concrete work and then click on one of the lines, click import items from library. So here we can dive deeper again into SMM2, into concrete works, and then choose whatever types of description that we wanted to have. Take for example for this one, I choose reinforced in situ concrete grade 30 in column stump, in ground beams, in pile caps, and in wall not exceeding 100 and 100 to 150 millimeter thick. So click on the import with rates if the rates is available. So we can see that the items is already imported from the library into this BQ. We can also edit this template. So we can do so by click and push enter and then type in with whatever things that we require. Take for example for this one in number 25. Just so. So we go to the third steps of preparing BQ, which is importing the BQ from an Excel file. Sometimes the BQ is prepared in Excel format, so we want to import the Excel into the system. So we first go to the BQ item in Excel file. Take for example this one. This is the typical types of BQ that is prepared by QS consultant all over Malaysia. So we first have to do some adjustment to the BQ, which is to delete all of this top type which is to delete few items in the top over here. This is because the system will auto generate everything, including the to collection page and also the collection bars down over here, like this one. So we click and then we click on delete. You can see that we have a seamless BQ for us to import into the system. Take for example that the BQ is long, and then the system need to segregate it into few numbers of pages. It will automatically generate the to collection and then the collection page itself. Now we can go further down to the collection page to delete this part. We need to do so for the remaining all other pages as well. So once finished, we can proceed to click save on the BQ and then go back to the system. This part over here, we can click on the import from file, import from Excel. Select file, choose from the list of documents, and then we need to do a process called column matching for the system to recognize which column is which. Take for example for this one, the description, it is in column C, unit is in column D, default quantity in column E, rate is in column F. So we cross-check with the Excel file to make sure that everything is correct. Description in column C, units in column D, quantity in column E, and rates in column F. Once finished, we can proceed to click import. After import is finished, we can see over here that there are numerous numbers of elements that are available in the BQ that we just import from the Excel file. Take for example for this one, I click import on the frame and the upper floor, click on the rates and quantity, proceed to click import. Once finished, double click on the bill, and then we can see that the two elements that we just clicked has been imported into the system. We can also see that the system also imported the rates over here. Take for example, we click on the frame, we can see all rates are available over here. This can also be further edited, same as the first step. Click and then push enter, and then we can proceed to add whatever things that we require inside this description. Now go back to the element and then take for example to the concrete work that we just created earlier. We need to add the quantity for the system to work. So there are two different ways that we can go about this. So first and foremost, we can click and push enter, so we can straight away key in the quantity that is required for this particular item. Take for example here 12, and then the system will note it down and appears over here. Or double click on the quantity. Here we can perform some measurement work. Take for example here in this one, grid to A to B, and then we can key in the length, based on any units that we wanted. The width is 0.02, enter the depth, take for example 2.5. So this system will auto calculate the multiplication of these three inputs, and then the total here is 50. So for example, we need to perform a deduction to this particular item. So here, deduction, and then we enter the length. Take for example 1, width 0.02, then the depth 0.5. So you can see here the total is 0.01, and then straight away change the sign to negative. You can see here the designation. The total is highlighted in red, and also for the total quantity is changed to 0.49. And then when we go back to the elements, we can see that the measurement that we just calculated and then the unit is displayed in blue. So once we finish with the BQ construction, we can go back to the element level and then click on the print BQ for us to take a look at the BQ that we just prepared. And take, for example, here in the frame, click print, and then we can see the printed BQ available here. We can see that the collection page is already been created by the system, and also the to collection tab over here, and also the head is automatically made by the system.